Hey everyone, it's Matt with EquiPredict Analytics. Thanks for watching. In this video, we're going to be covering a forecast for SQQQ that's being represented by PSQ. We're going to be doing a shorter term forecast for this. We've been getting a lot more requests for SQQQ going into the new year. So here it is. And again, just briefly, if you're enjoying some of the content we're providing here at the channel, please do feel free to subscribe. Also, you can head over to our website, equipredict.com. We send out to our readers, if you'd like, a free quarterly EquiPredict forecast over there, and we do have a subscription service available as well. So it's equipredict.com. Up on the screen here, we've got SQQQ, a chart that goes back to early 2021, late 2020. And I think everyone's really kind of hoping at this particular point in time they're going to catch an upswing like we saw in late in 2021, going into 2022. Going into that cyclical bear market. But I will say that I don't think that's how it's going to necessarily play out. It will be choppy, but I don't think we're going to see a year like we did in SQQ, not likely until 2026. But I think that the models are pointing to mostly a bullish year for 2025, but likely some choppy price action. But I think everyone's hoping that this is kind of what's transpiring here, this kind of up move. But I don't think that's going to. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's more going to be like something like this back that we saw in September, October of 2020, going forward to the next couple months. And here's the reality of where we are. This is a downtrend in SQQQ. Again, if you've watched the channel before, I'm a proponent of going with the trend and not against it. And if you are trying to go long for an extended period of time in SQQQ, you are fighting a downtrend. So you are at higher risk for loss at the present time if you try and take on a position for an extended period of time, months or so in SQQ, because you're fighting that downtrend. But nonetheless, I will point out that this is a daily chart of PSQ, which represents SQQ due to the fact that it's not leveraged, whereas SQQ is leveraged. You're going to get slippage. The data is easier to read and easier to harvest from PSQ to take our signals and entries and triggers into SQQ. The daily chart, we do see that the money flow index indicator, which is set to 11 here, has popped to the upside of a reading of just above 70, which we didn't reach until in 2024, until late July. And we saw a nice little bit of a rally in SQQ going into August. And so that tells us that some bullish price action. The bulls are trying to take control here, likely, given the fact that price has not made a higher high, but the money flow index has. So we got sort of a reverse bullish divergence going on here with the price and the indicator. So likely that's going to end up pulling SQQ up to the upside soon. This is a forecast, and just for those who are new to the channel, the way the forecasts work is that we send out to, if you're a subscriber, in our free quarterly alert that we send out to our readers. This is the way it works. This is just a snapshot I took of Microsoft. We sent this out to our subscribers in October of 2024. We let them know that October 4th was a great bullish buy point, likely some bullish price action going into the end of the year for Microsoft. This is the result of it. Obviously, we had some choppy price action, but going into the end of the year, except for this pullback, obviously, this was an excellent trade to take on. Really worked out really quite well. So this is a forecast that we've done for SQQ back in April of this year, and you can see that the red line here, again, that's our EquiPredict model. The blue line is a longer-term forecast that helps us with the shorter-term EquiPredict model forecasting to know which bullish bias buy point is going to be more likely to be one's going to work out in our favor. And so we did send this out to some of our readers, and at that time we just let them know that basically you've got two bullish buy points, one in May and one in July. Now, the one thing about the May bullish buy point was the fact that we have a conflicting trend here. We had a longer term trend that's down, and you got a bullish buy point signal here, which is a cycle that's been working out pretty well. However, this was a pretty high risk one to take, given the fact that you've got conflicting signals. On the other hand, the one in July, you've got a bullish buy point that's in the midst of a longer term uptrend. So this one was likely to work out quite well. Again, you want to be looking for kind of a trend line break at that time. This is the actual result of it happening again. And you can see that the May one didn't work out necessarily as well. If you kind of got in here at the bottom, you might have gotten out for break even if you had set your stops. If you had worked hard to monitor your position, but ultimately you would have taken a loss in SQQ near the peak. But this one here in July worked out quite well, again, just given the fact that we were a little early in the a little early here going into July, but by just before the beginning of the month, we had a nice pop to the upside that was in line with both the forecasts. So now over to the SQQQ current forecast. This is a bit messier, but this is using all the updated data that we have available to us. Likely what we're going to see is that we have two agreeing trends. We have a longer term trend that's agreeing with a shorter term trend here, telling us that we might see a little bit of choppy price action going into the next couple of weeks, but ultimately by mid-month, we should see some bullish price action in SQQ to the upside going into February, possibly even longer, maybe into the second week of February, given the fact that the longer-term trend is sort of providing that lift upwards in SQQQ going forward. So the EquiPredict model is telling us January 13th. A couple things to note here is that we basically have four signals that are telling us that this is likely to work out okay in our favor. Number one, as you remember from this going back here, the money flow index indicator is just reached a high point of 70, which it hadn't reached since August. We also have a trend line break, which is this line here. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a trend line that's been broken. Not necessarily a clean break yet, but it has been broken to the upside. That trend line goes all the way back to August. And then we have our EquiPredict model forecast, which is letting us know to the upside, and a longer term cycle that's bringing us to the upside as well. So that's basically four signals that are telling us that this trade is likely to work out in our favor. We want to be looking for maybe a cleaner break to the upside of that downtrend line before taking on that trade. So I hope that helps. I hope that provides you some assistance in choosing your entry into SQQQ. Good luck, happy trading, and do be careful out there.